On a given night, as many as 3,000 people in Baltimore qualify as homeless. Now, they may find their way to a shelter or, worse yet, wander our streets with nowhere to go. Well, now with the help of volunteers, the city is going where they are, intent on making sure its homeless population doesn't fade into the shadows.
The initiative is called A Point in Time Count. It's a snapshot of the city's homeless numbers, led by the Mayor's Office of Human Services and the group The Journey Home. Our In Focus team, a crew, was with that team of volunteers from the Veterans Administration, covering an area of the city that's home to some of our favorite hotspots. But on this night, hot is the furthest thing from everyone's mind. Temperatures sit just below the freezing mark as rain steadily falls and a bitter breeze funnels between city buildings.
All the way to that street.
The conditions are miserable for volunteers walking their zone near MLK Boulevard, deadly for those with nowhere to go, forced to endure the elements.
This area actually is a hotbed for the homeless population to hang out, especially the veteran population, because of proximity to the Veterans Administration. Where did you sleep last night?
Kelly Anthony is with the Baltimore Veterans Administration and a volunteer for the overnight count.
You know, working with them one day and they're gone the next.
Working with homeless veterans is something she's accustomed to doing, but nights like this, Anthony says, are important.
We give a name and a face to all the homeless in Baltimore, and we're able to go out, and on days like this where everyone's here, it's good that it highlights it, but we do it every day.
Anthony previously conducted a similar count in Cecil County, an event she recalls as a completely different experience.
It's a more rural setting, so it's you know, they're far few in between. You'd have to go into the woods and encampments and things like that. So this is a different experience all in of itself because you're on the street.
Would you like somebody to follow up with you about this?
Sometimes you have to baby step them, slow walk them, and say, would you like to go to a transitional housing placement? But for some people, it's so scary because if you've never had a place on your own, you have to get everything from pots, pans, knives, spoons, forks, things that people take for granted.
Anthony says responses she's received from men and women can sometimes seem counterintuitive.
I've lived out here for so many years, and now you want me to go somewhere and shut the door. That, for some people, is suffocating. It's too close.
The city conducted its most recent point-in-time count in 2013, finding more than 2,600 homeless, more than 60% of those men, and 20% younger than 25 years old. Prior to hitting the streets in their coverage zones, Anthony and the more than 400 volunteers met at the Our Daily Bread Employment Center. They spoke with project organizers and heard from Deputy Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Sloan Gibson.
Government that's reaching out to make a difference for those among us who are in greatest need.
Deputy Secretary Gibson accompanied the teams for the night, stopping at the U.S. Veterans Medical Center emergency room, outside the University of Maryland Medical Center, and along Baltimore city streets, talking to those homeless the team found.
I was also touched earlier to see the number of volunteers that turned out to help out on a rainy Sunday night in January. To be out here walking the streets trying to find folks that are having a hard time in their lives and then look for ways to help.
For the zone that included the two hospitals, Camden Yards, and the area near M&T Bank Stadium, the VA team met only 4 homeless residents in their first 2 hours.
How do you define success? Finding a homeless person out on a night like tonight or not finding them? It's good that they're inside, but we're hoping to count them, and that's the difficult part.
With a mission at hand and the threat of snow around the corner, the VA team, like their partnering teams across the city, continue searching corners, stairwells, and alleys, looking for anyone tucked away, doing all they can to stay warm and dry, hoping for a better tomorrow.
If it doesn't touch your heart, I feel like there's a part of humanity that's missing inside you.
The Mayor's Office on Human Services said the final numbers for the point-in-time count won't be ready for a few months. The most recent report dates back to 2013. We've linked those findings to ABC2news.com to give you some perspective on what these teams found in the past and, moreover, what they stand to find in the future.